Hey everybody, we're back. It's Tuesday, and today we're starting a new chapter, which is in Daniel. And Daniel is a really, really good book to understand because it overlays the book of Revelation. And this way, you're going to get a really good understanding of what is coming because we've already gone over Revelation. And so this just ties it all together and you'll just know what's coming. Hi, Kim. Hey, everybody. So, we're only going to do chapter 1 today because chapter 2 is pretty long. It's got like 40 verses in it, and it has a lot to go through and things like that. The first chapter is basically setting up the historical events leading to everything that happens in this book. And the first 6 chapters are historical, and then 7 to 12 are prophetic. And the first, let's see, I think it's through the 7th or 8th chapter is all in Chaldean, and then it goes back to Hebrew. So there's a different language in there as well, just to get a little bit of history behind the book itself. Hi, Aaron. I'm glad you made it live too. So, also the perspective in this. I'm just going to read this. So if you don't have a companion Bible, they really are very helpful. But so like the position or the third division of the Old Testament, the Psalms, see App 1, rather than in the second division, the prophets. So we've been going through Ezekiel and, and Isaiah, going not specifically all the way through them, but just kind of skimming them. But those are more for Israel. This is, Daniel is more towards the prophetic world, what's coming, the players in it. So, all right, may be explained by the fact that unlike the other 3 greater prophets, which is Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, Jeremiah was also during this time too, and he was doing his prophecies as well this time. When Jeremiah first started and was called, he was about 18 or 19. He was just a young kid. Daniel is 16 when this starts for him. So we have that 70-year captivity, and these Jeremiah and Daniel are kind of writing at the same time. So you can go back and look at what Jeremiah was doing with Josiah, the king, the Judah king at that time, which would be the last one, which he was telling everybody, we're going into captivity. And Daniel knew that because he listened, and he went in peacefully along with his other companions. At that time, Nebuchadnezzar had picked them out from the seed line of Judah. They were royal. So he picked these kids out so that they could go to the palace school along with others that were picked out and go for 3 years, kind of like a university type thing, and learn all they could. And then on the 3rd year, after they have learned everything, they learned the tongue and, all of that, then they would be in with the king to help. Uh, well, like the Chaldeans, they were there for their magic and things like that. The Israel was there for their prophetic side and stuff. Um, Nebuchadnezzar was someone that he worshipped the god Nebo, and that is a god of learning. So Babylon at this time was, he wanted everybody to have knowledge and things like that. So, you know, school, everything like that. I mean, he offered that to everybody. So this is kind of the forefront, just kind of seeing where we're going to be. Hi, Mary. So it wasn't a bad thing if, like, Josiah and the people that were still in Jerusalem would have just gone peacefully. They wouldn't have had that huge mess that happened when Babylon did come, when Nebuchadnezzar came and got him, and that was a mess. I mean, but the prophets there were saying, there's peace, 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 and things like that. And then they tried to fight against it. And God was saying, just go peacefully. But no, they didn't. So Daniel and the boys were lucky in the fact that they did listen and they went in willingly. They were just like, okay. And Nebuchadnezzar set him up through God himself, you know. And Nebuchadnezzar is God's servant. And even though he is the king of Babylon, but he uses people for his own good, for the benefit of the people to learn and grow. Not only that, but he told them, hey, you're going into captivity for all this, idol worship and everything like that. And so, I mean, as far as for these end times, because we're going back into captivity, this is a very good lesson for the 7,000 to understand that go peacefully. When you're being delivered up, go peacefully because you have a purpose, just like Daniel and the kids did. And, I mean, and also, everyone's going to be going along with it too. It's just you're going to get a lot of hate because you're not going along with it. But these Daniel and the kids, I mean, they had huge problems, especially by the Chaldeans. They were jealous and just, they were able to do things that these Chaldeans could not do. And they really, really got jealous because Nebuchadnezzar favored them over the other ones. And they're like, wait a minute, you're a Jew. Why, we're from the land. And anyway, the stories in here are really good. And it just shows you how God works and his personality and how you need to be a servant of God and to be able to be obedient. Is just, however it is in your life, there's one main focus that we all have is we are all going into the one world order system, and we're all going into captivity. So when it is our time to be delivered up, just go. Just let them. Okay, so Daniel chapter 1, verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, called Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, onto Jerusalem and besieged it. So Jehoiakim, he has a pretty good history of, at this point, of fighting back. So this was the third year. It was the third year of Jehoiakim that Nebuchadnezzar set out from Babylon. So he's, Jehoiakim is just kind of fighting against it. And Daniel, writing there, he's in Babylon, writing there, speaks of starting, not of the arrival of Jerusalem. So Jerusalem hasn't been captured yet, but it's coming. In the fourth year, Yahweh says by Jeremiah, chapter 25:9, I will send. The date would be 497 BC and Daniel's 16th year. So he's 16 years old. He was born probably in 513 BC and Josiah's 18th year. So, all right. And okay, so Nebuchadnezzar did set out in Jehoiakim's third year, but was delayed by the fighting, the battle with Pharaoh Necho at Carchemish. This is part of what he did. He formed these different alliances and things like that, and so it kind of messed it up. But in the fourth year, Jeremiah 46:2, he carried out the objects with which he set out. So that's when they came in and took control. All right, so verse 2, and the Lord Elohim gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand. So he was captured, and he was trying to escape, and he was captured in the field, and it was just a big mess because he had been given a prophecy by Jeremiah, this is going to happen to you if you fight against it. But he didn't listen, and then when they did come, he was trying to escape out of this field, and he got caught, and just really bad things happened to him at that point. Okay, with part of the vessels of the house of God, so they kind of raided the place which he carried into the land of Shinar, and that's Babylon, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. So, and the king spake unto Athpenaz, the master of the eunuchs. So he's kind of the ruler. He's like the lead person. He's like he controls all of them. That he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the prince's seed. So, after the captivity, he's looking at everybody, and he wants people who are teachable. That's the big thing. Are you teachable? He wants people that, are willing to learn. And so he's looking at all these, kids and stuff, and then he sees them, and it's like, okay, because they looked willing, and they might have even asked them and say, do you want to come and learn here? Okay, 4, youth or children in whom was no blemish, so they weren't sickly or anything like that, but well favored, so, they got along with people, and they were just good people. And skillful in all wisdom, so they were smart. They looked smart, and cunning in knowledge, so they, they picked things up quickly. And understanding science, and that was, Nebo, the god that Nebuchadnezzar worshiped. It's like, this is like the combination of everything he's looking for. And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, in whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans. So it's like a university in a palace area where all these different kids are sent to learn so that they can help the king later talk to the king about their wisdom and things like that and just help the kingdom along. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, the food, and of the wine, which is yayin. And the yayin is different types of wine. It's fermented. Some can be really strong. So just keep that in mind. Which he drank, so which the king himself drank. So nourishing them 3 years, so that's 3 years of studies, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. So they were, they were treated very well. Now among these were of the children of Judah, so they all came from the same tribe, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince or the ruler of the Enochs gave names. So he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar. And Belshazzar, this is an abbreviation form of Balat Sur Usir, protect thou, O Bel, his life. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, according to Dilet Surdar Aku, means command of Aku, the moon god, and to Meshach, Misha Aku, or who is Aku, and to Azariah Abednego, servant or worshiper of Nego. It is not wise to suppose this to be a corruption of Abednego, while any day the name may be met with this inscription. So who is Azaku? One of their gods. It must be someone a god that has a lot of power and over science, like the moon and the stars. And also it's giving new names is like subjugation to the king. So okay, but Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince, the eunuchs, that he might not defile himself. Now, you have the Levitical laws, the health laws. They did not drain the blood out of the meat like the Jewish people did. They cut, the throat and they let the blood drain out, but they didn't do that. So it was almost like eating putrid meat. It was unclean. And the yayin, whatever that they made it out of, but it just, maybe it was made out of apples or something like that, and they're like more into red wine or something like that, but it was kind of a mixed type of yayin. Now God, this is Elohim, which is the triune God, had brought Daniel into favor. So this is, remember, this is how God treats his very elect. Had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. So he had compassion for him. And God can change hearts and minds. If you're having a difficult time, just ask God. And he is a heart knower, so he can change whatever situation, if it's a bad situation or whatever. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? So I was talking about the food laws, and they didn't eat, meat that still had blood in it, and just making them sick. Then shall ye make me in danger of my head to the king. I mean, he was very good at chopping off heads and killing people. Then Daniel said to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So that is like the butler. Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. So it's more like not really vegetarian or anything, but protein like in vegetables and beans and things like that. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So if we look better, then can we keep our food? If not, we'll keep eating it. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. So, like even today, if you eat, junk food and things like that, and not applying the food laws, you will get sick. You'll get all sorts of diseases and things like that. As a matter of fact, a lot of things that we see today, like arthritis and heart attacks and things like that, was in Egypt. All their ailments we have, but we've gotten far away from eating right for our bodies. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God Elohim gave them knowledge and skill in all learning. See, this is part of the latter day reign. Think of that. He's giving you the skill and the knowledge to absorb this. And wisdom. So the Holy Spirit is working right there with you. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. So that was his gift that God gave to Daniel for this very purpose. And to write this book. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel. Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah therefore stood before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians, the Chaldeans, and astrologers that were all in his realm. And Daniel continued even into the first year of Cyrus. So it was like 69 years. So after the 3rd year, they were brought up, and they were 10 times better than, these magicians and things like that. So just know that when God is for you, nothing can be against you. You just keep plugging away. If you don't understand something, just mull over it. You will get it. And, the Bible is here for us It's like his word is sent to you directly so that you can understand it. So he's not going to fail you or anything like that. Um, so, like, chapter 2, um, it's Nebuchadnezzar's first dream, and it kind of talks about his destruction and things like that. But through this whole book, you'll find just how God works with the very elect, and I think it'll give you peace of mind and give you some understanding that whatever you need, however you need to be protected, He's going to protect you. So, catch. Okay, Stacy. Glad you got here. Daniel is an overlay of book Revelation. So, yeah, there's just, I mean, the whole Bible is mainly prophetic. That's why, it's good to read every book and just know what's in it, and it just helps you understand it more. Or buckler or shield high tower. Yep. So anyway, I'm not going to go into chapter 2 today because, like I said, it's a big chapter, and I don't want to get like halfway through and then have to stop and pick up where we left off. It'll probably take the whole hour. So if you guys have any questions now or anything you want to talk about, we can talk about it now. And if you guys like have any thing that you want to talk about or bring up, like on Saturday, if you guys are gonna make it. Oh, thank you, Oystein. Aw, you too. I wonder where Albin went to. I haven't seen him for a while. There's a lot of parables in Daniel. Look into what genocentric model began. Yeah. There's just, I mean, you can really get deep into any of these books, and just right now we're just kind of skimming over the top, but getting in some meat. And when you go back, it's kind of, I'm kind of teaching you how to study, and, the tools you need to understand, to bring things back to the Hebrew or whatever language that it was originally written in. Because with translation, you really lose a lot, and things are mistranslated or mistransliterated, and you just lose a lot. So, let's see. Did I say hi, Mary? Oh, hi, Roxanne. Yeah, today's kind of gonna be a short one, but I don't know. Do you guys have anything like you want to talk about or anything like that? If not, get ready for tomorrow. Definitely, it's like a big study, and I don't know. I thought it would go longer, but it didn't. But there's a lot of historical events and things like that you can go on with the timeline and see, as far as time goes, and with the different prophets and where they were at the time and how they kind of overlay each other. It is, the Old Testament, I think, is better than the New Testament. I mean, there's just so many good stories and things like that, and just things to learn. I mean, I think that people are generally the same. It's just a different time. So, I mean, time may change, but like even now, it's going to be like the days of Noah. You know, people being like that in that confusion with the fallen angels, you know, they're not going to know the difference. They're going to think it's a good thing. So, yeah, I guard your privacy. Bye bye. Oh, what was that? There's definitely true. I've noticed eating right. I intermittent fast too. I really do. I think it's good for your body to relax a little bit from, you know, eating and things like that. If I get a chance, look at the week 70 and other days. And yeah, that's a big one. You know, we should be able to really kind of bring that down. It's like the last week in that time period. So mainly focusing on that area with the Antichrist coming in and how he comes in. And there's just a lot in there that, you know, just you'll be able to see the signs and, you know. Oh, I was cutting onions and my eyes feel really watery right now. Okay, guys, I guess I will get going then, and then tomorrow, probably the whole hour, just studying and going over the second chapter. But there is a lot of good stuff in it that, you know, the dream itself, seeing how to just see how it's broken down and, you know, the symbolic and the meaning behind that. It might help you to even decipher your own dreams if you do have some. I'm not a date setter, just to watch. Me too. I mean, we are able to see the season. I mean, we may not know like what year or anything like that. That's why we watch. So, yeah, I mean, it's good to know. Like, we know, like, with the two witnesses when they die, we know it's 3.5 days later and Christ is here. So, these little things like that, you know, just makes you better watchmen, you know. Oh, hi, Mind for Knowledge. I don't know if I said yet. Hi to you. I'm reading all of your comments and stuff. So, I guess I'll talk to you guys tomorrow then. And have a good evening and don't get sick.